Salve a tutti ragazzi, benvenuti in un nuovo episodio di Railway Empire 2. Oggi proviamo il secondo tutorial che è la costruzione dei binari. Avviamo il tutorial. Mettiamo il caricamento, come al solito.
Hello! In this lesson, I want to give you some additional information about track construction. You already know the basics, but I have a few important tips. First, consider the cattle farm with the road connection to Sacramento. The road tells us that the farm can deliver goods to the city, in this case, livestock to the meat industry. But transportation by roads is slow and limited. Sacramento could produce more meat if the city received more livestock. Therefore, you are now to establish a railroad connection between the cattle farm and Sacramento. In order for a rural business to use a station, the station must be set up nearby. This is indicated to you by a line from the farm to the station.
Ok. Cosa devo fare? Stazione ferroviaria. La mettiamo qua. Perfetto così.
Very good. And now build the track between the new station and the station in Sacramento. Don't use the first two station tracks in Sacramento, though, because we still need them for the connection to San Francisco.
Mi dice di non usare i primi due, quindi devo crearne degli altri? Non usare però i primi due, ok. Da qui? Da qui. Allora. Andiamo al primo.
Great! But before you build the track, I want to explain how you can influence the height of a track. To do this, insert a track point on the track and change its height. You will see the controls at the bottom of the screen when you move the focus over the track point.
Quindi dobbiamo mettere un puntatore qui. H? No. Prima di costruire la tratta voglio spiegarti come se ne influenza l'altezza. Per fare ciò inserisci un puntatore sul binario e cambia la sua altezza. Ok, come? Cambia altezza con lo shift?
With the height of a track point, you can influence tunnels, bridges, and slopes. Now, optimize the track so that no tunnels or bridges are needed, and the track has a length of less than 250 kilometers or 160 miles. Then, confirm the track construction.
Allora, non ti devono essere ponti, ma già non mi sembra che ce ne siano. Però come facevo a fare l'altezza? Con lo shift? Ah, ok. Così è quello che mi fa spendere di meno e non ci sono tunnel. Te costruisci?
Excellent! Now, set up a rail line between the cattle operation and Sacramento. To do this, create a new rail line between the two stations, select a locomotive and a train, and confirm the cost.
Ok. Locomotiva sempre questa perché non ne ho altre. Però mi sarebbe piaciuto ci avessero dato un po' di storia della locomotiva. Comunque va bene così. Una. Ferma. No. Ok. Posso vedere cosa usi? No. Poi conferma. La tratta della tua linea ferroviaria attraverso dei binari in cui è possibile transitare in entrambe le direzioni e nessuna alternativa è offerta dalla tratta. Ok, va
That
benissimo.
done, the rail line can begin service. But suppose the demand for cattle becomes so great that one train on this line is not enough. Then you would have to add another train. But this is not possible at the moment because there are no parallel tracks. Therefore, you should now build a side track and define directions of travel so that several trains can operate between the cattle farm and Sacramento. Open the track build mode again.
Ok.
Now select the track at the marked position to insert a switch. Now it gets tricky. You have to lay the new track as a parallel track to the existing one. Parallel tracks are much cheaper and offer many advantages. Move your cursor to the marked position and make sure that the parallel track symbol appears on the cursor. Then confirm the position.
Come faccio? Ok.
Very good. Now the track will continue to be built as a parallel track. Now select the last position for your sidetrack near the cattle farm. You will see the complete track with 2 switches as a preview. Then confirm the construction and pay for this track.
Perché è errata? Il binario completo con 2 scambi. Prima. Ok. Cavoli. Ora il binario continuerà a essere costruito, va bene.
Now you have to set directions for the 2 parallel tracks. Otherwise, your trains will always choose the shortest way and not use the sidetrack. Now open the direction mode and select both tracks several times so that they receive different directions.
Ok. Così da questa parte
Very good.
e così
Now
di
your
là.
trains can go one way and return the other. Why don't you zoom in close to one of the new turnouts and take a look at the signals that were automatically created by the turnouts and the direction of travel. These signals define directions of travel and tell trains where to stop if the track section in front of them is already occupied or reserved. But at the moment, you don't need a second train on this route because your rail line can already transport much more livestock than the previous rural road. This allows the meat industry in Sacramento to produce more meat, which also benefits your rail line to San Francisco. Now, let's take a closer look at this rail line. Open the Sacramento City dialog by selecting the Sacramento City borders. You can select anything except special buildings. Important information about the city is shown here. At the top, the citizens of the city are displayed. Below that is how many wagons of goods the citizens and the industries in the city could consume and how well this demand is currently covered. Furthermore, the current train usage is shown for freight, passengers, and mail. Below that, it shows how many passengers and how much mail are currently waiting for transport and how much is added per week. It is important to note here, these express goods do not wait forever. For example, after a few days of waiting, travelers will gradually abandon their journey or look for another way. The same is true for mail. So if you want to transport as many express goods to San Francisco as possible, a train should leave Sacramento every 5 to 10 days. However, your existing rail line only has one train and only reaches Sacramento every 15 to 20 days, so you have to put in another train. However, this route does not offer any alternative options for several trains. Now you have to change that, but this time with a different method than before. Open the track construction mode and build a railway line from track 2 in Sacramento to track 2 in San Francisco. You will see that this track is automatically planned as a parallel track and is therefore very convenient.
Ok, allora mettiamo il secondo qui. E poi andiamo qua. Ok, abbiamo fatto un binario parallelo e facciamo costruisci.
But two parallel tracks do not help yet. We still have to connect them. There is a very practical method for this, the station gridiron. With it, you can connect parallel tracks in front of stations. Select the station gridiron and build it in front of the Sacramento and San Francisco stations.
Allora, il deviatoio si trova sui binari paralleli vicino ad una stazione ferroviaria. Fa sì che i treni in arrivo scelgano il proprio binario a seconda dell'uso. Permette inoltre ai treni in partenza di arrivare alla loro destinazione da qualsiasi binario di una stazione. Ok. Allora, uno qui l'abbiamo fatto, adesso andiamo a farlo dall'altra parte.
Excellent. Now set different directions for the two parallel tracks so that the trains can avoid each other. Select the track direction mode again and set different directions for the two tracks by selecting the track sections.
Ok, questo lo facciamo andare di là. Ci va anche questo pezzo qua? Sì.
Excellent. By setting directions, all signals are automatically created here as well. Now your track is ready for more trains. Close the track construction mode and select the rail line from Sacramento to San Francisco. You can do this in several ways. First, you can simply select the train that is traveling between the two cities. Do that. You can also simply switch through all your rail lines. Try that too.
Ok.
And there is a third way. Select a track between San Francisco and Sacramento. Then, a list of all the rail lines that use this track will open on the left. You can also select the desired rail line from this list. Now select Edit Rail Line and increase the number of trains to 2. The cost of this is for the locomotive, which has to be bought new. Fortunately, the wagons cost you nothing. Confirm the cost so the second train can be purchased, and then close the mode. Perfect! Take a close look at the station and the station gridiron in Sacramento. The new train can be created immediately, because thanks to the gridiron, both tracks are available to the rail line. The gridiron is more than just a crossover. While the train always chooses the shortest way at a crossover, at the gridiron, free tracks at the station are preferred. You can place gridirons at all parallel tracks in front of a station if there is enough space available, because the more tracks are to be connected, the longer the structure. Since the station gridiron can only be used by one train at a time, I wouldn't recommend you to connect more than 4 parallel tracks. Now let's wait for the train.
Cioè? Sta arrivando. Ci vediamo un po'.
And already the new train is on the way. By the way, the train number of the train you are currently looking at is shown above. Switch through the trains on your train line once. This is useful, for example, if you want to see what each train has loaded. And that's the end of this lesson. You now know how to create switches, side tracks, parallel tracks, track directions, and station gridirons. With this, you can already create any complex track system. You'll figure out other objects like crossings as you build tracks yourself.
Ok, questo tutorial è stato completato. No, andiamo qua, guardiamo comunque quale sarà il nostro prossimo tutorial, che è manutenzione dei treni. Comunque per oggi è tutto, grazie a tutti per la visione del video, ciao ciao!